What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Home Built Workshop. Today we got some more car repair because I have to replace a water pump as well as the fan clutch on a 2007 Chevy Trailblazer. Stick around, I'll show you how to do it. It's not that hard. So like I mentioned, my vehicle is a 2007 Chevrolet Trailblazer. It has the 4.2 liter inline 6-cylinder engine. Recently, I noticed that it was making a little bit more noise under the hood. The first couple of times I noticed it, I didn't really pay any attention to it, but it got increasingly louder and louder until finally I had to really take a look, and I started to see that there was some seepage along the back side of this water pump, and also I could notice some play in the fan as I wiggled it top to bottom, which tells me that the bearings in this thing are going out. See that pulley moving? I hope. You can also see that the belt, serpentine belt's shot. Then I got a check engine light, and the code was related to the fan speed, so it was kind of telling me this clutch was going out. So let's jump right in. We'll get this stuff changed out. If you need to do this, plan on 3 to 4 hours or so. That's what it took me. Of course, it probably would have went a little bit faster if I wasn't trying to film the process. At least plan on a couple of hours to get this done if you need to do this. I would tell you right off the bat, this is not something that I planned to do today. I don't feel comfortable putting this off. I wanted to wait at least another week or two, but I think I just need to do this. I just went to the auto parts store, got all the parts that I believe I'm gonna need. We're gonna replace the water pump, the fan clutch, the serpentine belt, and while it's apart, we're gonna double check the tensioners. I didn't buy tensioners, but if we determine that they're bad, I'll run up there and grab one. First thing I wanna do is use this large adjustable wrench to loosen up the nut so I can take that fan off. I believe the actual size is 1 7/16. I don't have anything that big other than this. They make special wrenches and things for that, but I've used this for water pump jobs in the past and it works great. The first thing we need to do is grab a large screwdriver and carefully wedge that against the bolts of the water pump pulley. That way we can break the bolt loose. Try not to drop it like I did. Now a few good whacks with a hammer will break that loose. We're not going to completely remove this yet, but we do want to get it loose before we move forward. Now there are a couple of different ways to do this. Apparently the GM method is to remove the upper part of this core support and a whole lot of other work. Another way that I've seen people do it is when you go to remove this shroud, you can't get it past the filler neck on the radiator, so they cut a little slot in there. I don't like that method either. The way that I am going to do is where we don't have to remove this core support, we don't have to cut the shroud, but we still will be able to get this shroud out of there in one piece. The only thing different that we're going to need to do is to disconnect the fan blade from the fan clutch. This is surprisingly easy to do, just a box and wrench. These are not all that tight, so they came apart really nice. Once you remove all 4 bolts, you may have to wiggle the fan back and forth a little bit to get it to pop loose from the clutch. Just be careful you don't bend it too much and break a fan blade. So you can see after you wiggle the fan blades loose, now it can scoot back far enough to where we'll be able to get the whole shroud up and out of there. Now we'll just continue with the disassembly. Next we will take off the upper radiator hose. Make sure the engine is cool before doing this, and also use a catch pan and be sure to dispose of any spilled antifreeze properly. If you're using pliers on those little springy hose clamps, make sure you really use some caution there. It is possible to break the ears off those things. Now we're going to remove 2 10mm bolts from either side of the radiator shroud. The bolt on the driver's side of the vehicle has this wiring harness right here. It runs down to this plug. We need to disconnect this plug. This cable is what runs to the fan clutch, and since we're removing the fan clutch anyway, we need to get this out of the way. Plus it's attached to the shroud, and we're going to take the shroud out of here in a minute. These plugs have this little lock that you need to slip up first. Then you can just squeeze the connector and pop it off. You may have to carefully get in there with a screwdriver to wiggle it loose if it's really stuck. Now as we move over to the passenger side of the shroud, you can see right here, these are the transmission cooler lines. They're in this little clip right here. We need to pop those out of there. I thought this was going to be harder than it is. They're just pressure fit in place. Just pull them out, shove them down below the clip. Just be careful you don't bend anything. Now we can finish unthreading the fan from the front of the water pump, and we'll very carefully work the clutch, the fan, and the shroud all out together. You got to be a little cautious because you don't want anything to slam into the front of the radiator. And now with everything out of the way, we're going to leave the belt on there for a minute because we want to loosen up the bolts at the front of the water pump pulley. The belt's going to add some tension on the pulley, which will hold everything still while we break those bolts loose. Now with our pulley loose, we can now remove the serpentine belt. The tensioner is down here. Right here is a little square that fits a 3/8 drive ratchet. So you can just put your ratchet in there, and when you press down, all your tension comes off the belt. Now we'll finish removing the bolts from the pulley, and then the pulley will come right off. Now to remove the water pump, we just have to remove 5 bolts. It's a lot easier to get in there if you use an extension on the end of your ratchet. When you take the bolts out, pay attention to the sizes. For this particular vehicle, they're all the same size. Once in a while, you'll encounter a vehicle that may have different sizes, and you want to make sure that they go back in the right spot. You still have that catch pan underneath, right? And there it is, out with the old. Before we can go in with the new, we have to first clean up the surfaces, make sure everything's nice and clean and dry before we can drop the new pump in place. And now we can reinstall the new pump. I've got the gasket in place, and I'm using one of the bolts to keep everything in alignment while I get the bolt started. I don't want that gasket to slip out of place. And I'll reinstall all of the bolts. Right now I'm just putting them in by hand. Once I have them all in place, then I can grab my ratchet and go back around and snug them all down. Don't over tighten them, and make sure to tighten them in a crisscross pattern like you would if you were tightening lug nuts on a wheel. I'm fairly certain there's a specific torque rating that these bolts should be tightened to, but I don't know what that is. I just know that they were not all that tight from the factory. Now we can remove this little plastic dealio that protects the threads, and yes, that's the technical term. Before we can begin any assembly, we just have to swap out the new clutch, which is connected to the shroud. That's way easier than I thought. That's it. That's really easy. All there is that little clip right there. You don't have to undo any of these clamps or anything. You just squeeze this, pop out the connector, pop the new one back in, and you're ready. At this point right now, we are ready to do the reassembly. We're going to begin with the water pump pulley. At this point, when you're installing the bolts for the water pump pulley, don't worry about trying to tighten them down with a wrench. Just tighten them as good as you can, finger tight. We'll tighten them with a wrench later on when there's belt tension on it. Once you get that pulley in place and the bolts hand tight, now is the time you want to reinstall the serpentine belt. Don't get ahead of yourself and try to put things together before you install the belt. Don't forget it.
Here's a little tip regarding the serpentine belt. Most of the time, your radiator shroud will have a little diagram on there, a sticker or a decal or something, but I recommend using your phone and taking a picture before you pull the belt off. That way you'll know exactly how it was threaded on there in case you get stuck. Sometimes they're kind of confusing. Now that there's belt tension on the water pump pulley, now is the time we want to tighten up those 4 bolts.
Ow. Ow.
Apparently using your hand as a hammer is not the best idea.
Now we'll take our whole assembly here and get all this stuff back in place. Careful when you're lowering it down in. Don't want to snag your radiator, somehow damage it. There's a couple of tabs way down in the bottom. I can't really get a good shot, but when you put this shroud back down in, you want to make sure the little nubs on the bottom of the shroud drop down into both of those little holes. There's one right about here and one right about here, straight down. You want to make sure that goes in the right spot. If I climb underneath, you can kind of see one of the tabs here and another one over here. Let's make sure these little nubs are down in that hole. So what I need to do now is finish securing the clutch to the front of the water pump with that big bolt. Then I need to reattach the fan blades to the clutch. Then we can reinstall this upper hose, refill the system, start it up, check for leaks, and we're pretty much done. Installation is pretty much the same as removal, so I'm just gonna skip through, get this done.
Some of you guys know that I really don't like these spring clips. Be careful when you're squeezing them. You can squeeze them too far and break them off, just like this.
Oh no. I hate these things.
It's not a real big deal if you do break one, just replace it with a real hose clamp. Now we can fill the system as full as we can before starting it up. Then we'll start it, let it come up to temperature, and then refill as necessary.
Oh man, starting it up, it is super quiet. Before there was all kinds of rattling and noise. Woo!
As the engine warms up and the thermostat opens, the fluid is going to begin to circle back through the engine block, and this is when you'll see the level go down. So just refill it as it goes down. Once it's up to temperature, you should have all the air out of it.
So far I've let this thing run for about 10 minutes. I don't see any leaks. It's come up to temperature. I think we are good to go. There you have it, guys. Really not all that bad. If you just plan, make sure you have enough time, make sure you have the tools and materials you're gonna need on hand. You can get this done. It's not that bad. Don't be afraid if you need to jump in and make this repair yourself. You can save yourself a lot of money. Just be careful, work slow, make sure you know what you're doing. Be safe, dispose of any and all antifreeze correctly. Don't just throw it on the ground. This process is gonna be almost identical no matter what model vehicle you have. If it has this inline 6-cylinder engine, that's gonna go for the Chevy Trailblazer, the GMC Envoy, I believe the Isuzu Ascender, and I also think there's an Oldsmobile model, but I can't remember what that is. The process is gonna be very similar, if not exactly the same. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I hope you found this helpful. We'll see you next time. Jim's probably laughing at me right now. Sorry, Jim. I'm doing my best, buddy. Don't get ahead of yourself and have a loud plane fly over when you're trying to do this.